Okay, I'm going to check to see if I have voice, have some audio. Yes, I do. I have some audio. All right. Now, as I mentioned in an email I sent to everybody, this is a pre-recorded class that will be used in lieu of class on Thursday night. I have a medical appointment in Oklahoma City at 3:30. I simply will not get back in time to do this class. So here's the thing: we will not physically meet Thursday night, which would be Thursday, September the 28th. Instead, I will have this pre-recorded class session for everybody, and then, as usual, I'll do the supplemental broadcasts or screencasts, excuse me, on Friday or Saturday. But we will get the required time in, and I apologize about it. This created some inconvenience for anybody. My apologies. But I just found out about this yesterday, so I have to do what I have to do. Just like you have appointment, or you have tournaments to go to, or this or that. I got a life too. But fortunately for us, we have this excellent tool called Zoom, where I can record a lecture. I record working on some problems, so we can have a class session. You can view it when you need to, and I can produce it when I need to. And that's a nice thing, a great luxury for us that we've not had. So this will be in place of the Thursday night class, where we usually meet at 6 o'clock. Okay? And hopefully it'll go a lot smoother, because we seem to have technical problems up there at night. I had one last week where I was near the end, and the machine froze on me. I don't know if there are gremlins that have it, Bailey Business Lab, in the evening or what. But anyway, we're gonna work on this. So let me go to the announcements for just a second, and this will help us stay on track in terms of what we're working with. Okay, and as I mentioned here, on this is the September 21st, part 3. Okay. There were 3 parts last week. Last Thursday, the 21st, I covered case number 10. Then in the second part of the screencast, remember we have a 3-hour class, so there's 150 minutes of instruction. I covered exam 1 and part 1, and then on the third part of that September 21st broadcast, I covered XLS case 11, and I talked about exam 1 part 2. Okay, and then as you see here, I had to change. I created an invitation for the September 28th session, which is tomorrow night, and I had to cancel that. And instead, I have the message here. I'll be in Oklahoma City Thursday, so I'll pre-record a screencast that will cover what I would have covered anyway. Okay, and notice I have the September 28th session will be pre-recorded, supplemental screencast TBD, to be determined, like we did here. And again, I appreciate it, but I've given you a couple of days notice, so shouldn't be too much of an inconvenience. And for those of you who have a practice or whatever, who come very faithfully on Thursday nights, I appreciate it. This gives you a shot at maybe having some supper, resting up a little bit. So I will have this, and as soon as I'm done this morning, I'm gonna post it and cover, and then once I've got this recorded and loaded up at YouTube, I'll send everybody an email and say, here's what you need to look at for Thursday night, the 28th. And again, I apologize for any inconvenience this may have created, but just like you, when I have things I've got to get done, I have to find a way to work it around. And thankfully, we have this tool, Zoom, where I can record this, and you can see it at your leisure. As I noted down here, we were working on XLS case 11, so by logic, we would move on to case number 12, and that's going to be Truman Assembly, and that's over on page 111. I'm working in the Solve It textbook, okay? That's Truman Assembly, and spreadsheet case number 12. Now, let me note something for you. when we go over to the Pacific Trading case, which is over on page 119, there's an error in the book. It marks it as case 12, but it's not. It's actually case 13. Okay? So we're going to do case number 12 today, which is Truman Assembly. Now, let's take a look for just a minute and see where we are in terms of the course, just the logistics, as I would anyway. And on the 28th, you have due by 6 p.m. the break-even and ELQ quiz. That is based primarily upon the case number 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Badger Jams. As you're starting to kind of understand, I'll take a case and I'll build a quiz around it. So the break-even and ELQ quiz is based on Chapter 6, Badger Jams. Okay, it draws from that, and then there's the few text. That's the great big one. Show me the numbers, and then we've already done case 7, so you should have already uploaded it. All right, that's what's due on the 28th by 6 p.m. So that'll keep us moving forward. Now, we want to go over to the files section. Okay, and let me recommend this. You know, this is a screencast, which means it's like a video. You can play it forward, you can play it backwards, you know, and it's going to be in your best interest a lot of times to take some notes and have the book. You should always have the book open when we go over these cases, and it's not a bad idea to have, you know, take some notes, just like you would in class. So if you just sit and watch it and then you come and tell me, well, I don't know how to do it. Well, all I can say is maybe you didn't look at the video well enough and you didn't study it. And when we get to operations or we do certain things that you may be a little confused on, play it back and then play it forward, okay? Now, the advantage of this is that you will see exactly what I said in class. You don't have to rely on your memory. You'll have it right there, okay? So let me have just a quick swig of some morning beverage, and we're going to go down here to the solvent cases, okay? And I think we have a case for Truman. Now you're viewing a lot of files that I'm viewing a lot of files you don't see because as instructor I can hide them. Well, you'll see right here, let's go here, the Solvent 6.0 student files, okay? That's the zip file, and that has the skeleton file for Truman in it. All right, so let's download it. We'll download it to our desktop. All right. And when it opens up, you'll want to grab Truman Q. So I'm going to diminish my screen down. There you can see my nasty desktop with all its stuff on it. Now, let me mention this. While I'm at it, let me shamelessly plug the class I developed for J-term. If you need credit, if you need elective credit for J-term and you want to take your class online so you can go home and work, whatever, there is this course I just developed. It's called Business Goes to the Movies. Okay. And I think you'll find it a good course to take. Now, let's get back to work. Here's the Truman, okay? And I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it on my desktop, and I'll find the Truman. Here it is, Truman Q. And we're going to open it up. Okay. I'm going to enable my editing there. Now, as usual, the authors provide us some background about the company. And this is, they're talking about doing some doing some sorting, and then creating some macros, which are easy to create. They're nothing but keystroke recorded keystrokes. I have some resources for you that I'd like to bring to your attention, and I'm going to diminish this down and then go back into the classroom. And I think I either have them in the modules or in the quizzes. Okay, let me see what we've got here. And here's the welcome. I have all these different things, and let me see. One of them covers PERT CPM, Program Evaluation Review Technique, and Critical Path Method, which tells you about using PERT CPM. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. I have that for you. This is a resource you'll want to take a look at. And then let's see here. I've got the another resource is Inside FedEx Super Hub. I think that's maybe, let's see if I've got it in here or I put it, it's called Inside FedEx Super Hub. And let me just go down here and see if I've got it. A lot of these resources I would link, I would put up here. And I probably have it over in the supplemental website. That would be my hunch. Now, and then then I would encourage you to go out to YouTube on how it's made. Now I'm going to pause for just a moment. And I'm going to pause the share and pause this recording and stop for just a minute and take a look for a couple of resources that I want to share with you. All right, we should be in good shape, and to resume the share, and recording should still be going, so that's the animal of the house. There we go, and the recording's going back. What I wanted to do was check to see if I had those over in the supplemental website, and they're just some files. Now, let me explain what I was doing there. I was looking for some resources that will help us kind of put the case into some perspective. Truman Assembly makes lawnmowers, and I had some resources I thought over at the supplemental website that would show you some of the complexities that these folks deal with. Now I'm going to go back over there one more time and take a look at C. Of course, this is a repository of a bunch of materials and links and things over the years I've collected for this course. Let's take a look at it. And we'll see. Let me look first of all how, I think there's maybe how it's made. And that's a file that was over from, here it is. Now here's one, good. Glad I found this one. This shows the components of a lawnmower, which is very similar to the type of lawnmower that they're making there or assembling in Truman Assembly. Let me make clear for just a moment. Let's talk about what we call the supply chain. There are people who make parts, okay, for a product like a bicycle. Those are manufacturers. Then there are people who assemble them. They put them together, okay, and those are assemblers. That's why we have a case on Truman Assembly. And then there are people who distribute them. Now, people who assemble may also be those who distribute them. In other words, who assemble or buy a product and then ship it to retailers, or maybe ship it to wholesalers, or sometimes both. Okay, but I wanted to let you see just see the type of components and what we're talking about, how complex it is. And click this open. Okay, and this shows you. This is a view of the type of lawnmower the people at Truman are putting together. And you can see this is pretty complex, and you're getting a schematic that shows you the whole thing. That was one of the resources. I thought I had it on the desktop, my desktop. I see that it's over here. Okay, and let's see. Let me close that. And then the other was inside FedEx's Super Hub, and that may I'm pretty sure that is over at I'm pretty sure that's over at YouTube, as well as how it's made, the lawnmowers. But let me see. I thought I had them just over here on the desktop or over here, so I apologize about this, but I want to let you see. And I'll look for them some more in the event that it maybe have them. As we changed, let me say this: as we changed from Moodle over to Canvas, I had to import a lot of stuff, and I'm afraid there's some things that I just didn't get, and that's probably some of them. But that's okay. You can. I'll do this just real quickly. We'll go to YouTube. And we'll do a search, okay? And we'll search there for the FedEx Super Hub, and they may have a video that there it is inside. This shows you how complex. And let me encourage you, go over and take a look at these if you want to see. What an incredible job the people do at FedEx in getting materials to us, getting things we've ordered. And so you'll want to take a look at that. And this is exceptionally impressive. And there are a few minutes, and this is to give you kind of a back office view of what's going on. Now the other is how it's made, and I'll put how lawnmowers. How did we live without YouTube? And how it's made. Here it is. How it's made, lawnmowers. I knew that if I didn't get it exported, I could always count on YouTube. And they show you here. This is how a Toro lawn made. Now, I'd like you to look at these, because most of you have never worked in a factory or a farm. You've never worked in a large-scale production facility, and that's not a criticism, it's just a reality. But you need to understand that in the event that you're dependent upon that type of situation, or you work in one of them. And Truman, the Truman case really does utilize those techniques. So I'm going to close this off, and you can go ahead and do that search for yourself. I've shown you now. And then we'll go back into the course and back into Canvas, and we'll go back, okay? And we've got the Truman Q, and let's open it back up. Now, what we have here, and again, let's talk about the components of a spreadsheet, is as you see, we've got the vendor name, vendor number, order number, the item, a description, the cost of the item. This is what we would call a fact table in a database. Indeed, this may be exported from a database, who knows? But this shows us all of these orders and everything was involved. Now, what we're concerned about, okay, is time. And if you look at the case, and again, it starts over on page 111. these cases are like big thought problems, okay? They have some uncertainty about their shipping, and they want to try to find some fast and easy ways to do that. And so we're going to create a macro today, and we'll mess with doing some command buttons. The first, and if we go over to page 112, okay, we're going to see what they want us to do. Okay, there are 4 tasks in the problem. All right, and the very first one says create a macro that sorts the entire spreadsheet in ascending order by vendor name, then in ascending order by item number, then in the descending order in cost per order. Name the macro vendor sort, and assign this macro control key sequence of control plus shift plus V. Okay, sounds like a whole lot to do, and there is a bit to do. All right, nothing terribly onerous, but we can get it done. So we're going to click up here on data, and I don't create that many macros myself. I usually don't have to, and so let's find the macros. I'm going to have to do a quick hunt here. Maybe it's under formulas. Okay, and let me look here for just a second. The view tab. Good old view tab. There it is. Macros. And I apologize for that. Look, folks, I don't do that much automating in spreadsheets, so you know, but if you do, you'll want to. So we're going to click on macro. Now, when you'll have to download. You'll have to have the file downloaded to your desktop. Okay, and we've got that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a macro name. Just for this Truman Q. And we want to put a macro name, and we're going to call this vendor. This first one is going to be called vendor sort. And we have a name for it now, so we're going to click create. All right, and we want to go back up to the Excel view. All right, and the macro is recorded, and we've got that ready to go. And we're going to click record macros, and we have this one called macro 1. So I've done a little bit of VBA work in this file. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll record the macro, and we're going to call this vendor sort. Now, in the environment over there in Bailey Lab or on your desktop, you will have to enable macros to get this performed or get it done. And probably what I'll do is I will probably just load. I will probably just I'll probably publish one of the files I have where I've done this. Now the vendor sort key, all right, is going to be we're going to use vendor sort is control plus shift plus V, okay, and it's for this workbook. Now in the description here, I'm going to put vendor name. And that's going to be AZ, which stands for ascending order, just like when you see there in the sort. Then item number, in AZ, and then the third would be the cost per order,
and that will be, let's put a comma there. The AZ stands for ascending. Okay, then item number AZ, and the cost per order, and that will be in descending order because we want to see the highest cost first. And click OK. Want to record it. All right. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take my cursor and put it on A7, and I'm going to go all the way down to, I'm going to go from A, I'm going to highlight from that, move that out of the way. You don't see that, but that's my controls here. So I'm going to go from A7 all the way down to M73. Okay. So far, so good. And well, let's highlight those again. I click home, and then I'm going to do my sort. And so I'm going to come over here and click over in editing, and I'm going to do a custom sort. And I'm going to start, and I'm going to make sure it has my data has headers. Okay, we're going to do the first sort, and that's by vendor name, and that's going to be A to Z or AZ. That's ascending order. Now we're going to add a level, and that's going to be the item number. Okay, and that's going to be in ascending order, and that will be smallest to largest. And then we'll add a third level, and that's going to be cost per order. All right, and that will be largest to the smallest. So we have 3 levels here, and we're going to click OK. And this shows us first our vendor name is in alphabetical order as we asked it, in other words, ascending order. Then the item number, that is in ascending order. Okay. Now listen, don't get yourself confused. When you do one of these, and I'm going to click back over here on the custom sort. When you do a custom sort and you involve more than one level, we have 3 levels here. It's going to do the first level first, the second level second, and the third level third, because it's assuming you have it's like a series of targets. Okay, a big picture, a big circle, then a smaller circle, and then a target. And so what we're after is in alphabetical order. Okay, the item, the vendor, and this is alphabetized in order, A to Z, and then the item number. Okay, so if we have multiple orders from the same vendor, we have those sorted by item number, and then the cost per order, and that's on the largest to smallest. So you can see, for example, we've got cutting edge. Okay, we got cutting edge over here, and then Eagle Technology, etc. So we've run the sort, and we'll click on the macro. Okay, and it says view macros, stop recording, and I'm going to stop recording. Okay, so we've done the first macro. Now, what we want to do is record it. So we want to create a command button to record it. All right, so I'm going to click on insert. Okay, and we're going to look over here and we're going to find the shapes. All right, now once we've got that done, now we have our shortcut key. All right, and we've gotten that done, we're ready to go. And now, okay, we did our work, and now we're going to create a command button. Okay, and we're going to insert a shape, and I'm going to put just this simple box right here. All right. Now notice we've got this shape. All right. And we can stretch this out. All right. And if I want to edit the shape, I can click up here and do that. Or I can right click and I'm going to edit the text, and I'm going to put this will be vendor sort. Okay. Okay. And now then I'm going to right click it again, and you come down after I right click, I'll see a thing that says assign macro. And there's vendor sort. And notice there's the name, we assigned it. Macro in the trim and queue file. The description, we have a vendor name, AZ meaning the vendor name is the first sort, the primary sort, and that's in ascending order, alphabetical. There's item number, that's the secondary sort, i.e. the second sort, and that's in ascending order. And then finally, the cost per order, that's the tertiary or the third sort, and that's cost per order, and that's from Z to A, meaning the largest to the smallest. Click OK. All right. Now we've got it, and if you notice, I'm going to take my cursor after we've edited the text, we've added the name, we've stretched this out a little bit in the shape that we want. Now you notice I've got my cursor, and I want you to take a look. See, it goes to the little hand. That means it's the commands, or it's set up to do that. I'm going to click it, and there we go. I'll do it again. This is a way to automate this. So what I do is I would add any other macros that I want in here, okay? And a macro is nothing more than recorded keystrokes. That's all it is. So I've got the vendor sort, okay, and do that. Now, we've got two others to do, and I understand this can seem a little confusing, but once you do this the third time with me, you go, oh, okay, and now I understand why I would automate this, because there are certain things that I want to get done, or I want to be able just to click the button and get the sorts done that I want to, instead of having to go in and redo it each time. So we've done the vendor sort. That was task number 1, okay? Task number 2, we're going to create 2 additional macros. The first, and I'm reading right here from the middle page 112, the first should sort the spreadsheet column days overdue in ascending order to indicate which shipments arrived quickest. Name the macro fast arrival. And then they tell us the second should sort the same column in descending order to indicate the slowest shipments. Name that slow arrival. And then include a secondary sort to organize vendor names alphabetically in ascending order in both macros. For fast, we're going to assign F, Control Shift F for fast, and Control Shift S for slow. Okay, so we got this first one created, and so we're going to go back here now, and we're going to click Formulas, View. All right, I'll click View Macros. And you'll see I can view the macros, or I can record. I'm going to record. It's going to record mine. And we're going to call this fast arrival. All right. And this one will be Control plus F. And it will be for this workbook. And in this one, we're going to have days overdue. And this will be in ascending order, so it'll be AZ. And then we're going to have vendor name. And that will be in ascending order, AZ. And then we have the Control F. So now we have our fast arrival we've created. Okay. Now we're going to do our keystrokes. I'm going to put my cursor and I'm going to highlight A7 down to, I believe it's M73. And yeah, it's A7 to M73. And then I'm going to click Home. I'll click Home, and then I'm going to do the Sort and Filter. I'm going to do a Custom Sort. And this time I'm going to do days. The first will be days overdue. And that's going to be smallest to largest. We want to see who's the fastest. The item number, and ask us there to do the vendor name. The vendor name and A to Z. And they don't ask us to use cost per order, but I'm going to leave it as the third one, okay? So I'm not exactly following. And you'll notice up here, you know, you can move these up or down. So this, I'm going to have days overdue, okay? The vendor name, and I'm just going to leave cost per order there as largest to smallest because I'm interested in that. I'm really interested in how many days they get it to me, and how fast I'll pick that up on the days overdue. And then I have A to Z and largest to smallest. So click OK. And it does that sort for us. All right. I'm going to click up here in View. Pardon me, in View. I'm going to click Macros. And you see a little button there that says Stop Recording. And I'm going to stop recording it. Okay. Now we're going to make the command button. So I'm going to come over here to Insert, Shapes, and I'm going to use a star because these are people who get stuff to me the fastest. So it indicates I can make that as big or little as I want. I can stretch that out. Then we'll click in here and we'll put Edit Text, and this will be Fast Arrival. Okay, and once I've done that, I can make this as big or small as I want. I can put a different color in here if I want. And I think I'm going to do that. Let's see. I'm going to size it, format the shape. I don't think I want to do that. But I can't. I'm going to change the color to nice green. Okay, because these are good people who are getting their stuff to me. Now, I'll also right-click it again, and I'm going to assign it a macro, and there is Fast Arrival. I will click OK. Now let's put your cursor there, and you'll see the little hand shows, and click it, and boom, it does the sort. It sorted them, okay, on the number of days overdue with the in ascending order, okay, and then the vendor names in alphabetical order, and then we left the vendor name, the cost per order. I left that in there. What we're interested in looking at is this far right column, days overdue. Notice too, what these mean is these orders, they got them to us 2 days early or a day early. Here they were just right on time. And then as we scroll down, we see people who were late a day, and then it goes on. So I've created this macro, and let's just click up here and we'll run it again. And we can then go back and do the vendor sort. We'll run it. Okay. So we're going to do a third. We're going to do a third macro. Oh, okay. Now I get this, and not a big deal. So I'm going to click. I'm going to click View. Okay. And I'm going to click Record Macro. And we're going to give this a name, and this one will be Slow Arrival. And this one will be Control S. See, we can use it. If you want, you can use the hotkey, or you can just click on the macro. In my mind, if you're going to take the time to create the macro, you might as well just go ahead and have the thing in there instead of doing all the hotkeys, but whatever. Now, it's for the macro in this workbook. And then we're going to put description. And this one we'll put days overdue. And this will be, these are the slowest. So this will be days overdue, CA. AZ meaning in ascending. This time we're doing in descending, starting from the largest down to the smallest. So we have days overdue. And then we have vendor names. And those are in alphabetical order. And then we'll have cost per order. And we'll have that in ascending order. We'll click OK. And we have our sheet highlighted. And it's going to be A7 all the way down to M73. Now, we're ready to do our sort, so we'll click Home, and then we'll come over here to the Sort and Filter, and I'm going to do a custom sort. This time, I'm going to choose Days Overdue as my primary or first sort, and that's going to be largest to smallest. Okay. Then I'm going to do the vendor name. And that will be in alphabetical order. And then I've got cost per order, largest to smallest. So let's go back and we'll click that. We'll click OK. And notice now the days overdue. Now we're ready to create our command button. So we'll click Insert. And we're going to find a shape. And let's see here. What do we want? To show that they're bad people, not getting us our stuff on time. I'm going to give them a thumbs down. I wish I had one of those we could put in here. Stars and banner, there's call outs. Let's just use the thumbs down. So now I'm going to also format that shape, and on the fill, I'm going to use red fill. I'm going to edit the text, and I put slow arrival. All right. And then I'm going to assign a macro. Let's see, I think, let's go over here for just a moment. Back to view. And I kind of messed this up there, so I'm going to let's see what it is. I should have stopped the macro at that point and then assigned it. So we're going to come up here to stop recording. Okay. And let's see what we get. Okay. Now I'm going to try the slow arrival. No, it didn't take. Okay. Now we need to assign it a macro. That will do it. So slow arrival. Now hopefully it'll go hot. And let's see. Very good. So we didn't mess up completely there. So now we have, and you can come over here and right click it, and then you can expand this a little bit so it's kind of the same size as the others. And so we'll go through this. We'll do the vendor sort. That puts them in alphabetical order. Then we can do fast arrival. And then we can do slow arrival. And let's redo this, okay? I'm going to get rid of this. Let's just cut this. And I want to delete this because I messed this up on that. My fault. Okay? Let's go back into record macros. Let's view the macros. And look at slow arrival. Okay? And let's run it. Okay. We're going to get rid of this and let's go back into the view macros. Click on the fast arrival and we're going to delete it because I messed this up. I should have stopped the recording, then created the form and assigned it. So I messed this up. So click delete. Yeah, we'll do that. And now we're going to start the process over. I apologize. Let's click up on macros, record macro, and we're going to call this, this will be slow arrival. And this will be the control S, and this will be days overdue. In descending order, largest to the smallest. Then we'll have vendor name. Now we do this description. It's a little tedious to do this, but then when you want to know what did I do here, and then we're going to have cost per order in descending order. That's what the ZA means. And we'll click OK. And it's giving me some fits. Let's cancel this for just a moment. Let's go up to view macros. Okay, we have the vendor sort and we have slow arrival. We must have eliminated fast arrival instead of slow. So click on slow arrival and delete it. Yeah. Now, let's just back up for a moment because we did fast arrival and we have, let's see if it's still, no, it's not operative. Let's go ahead and just make the shape and then we're going to go back in and redevelop the macros. I apologize about this. I'm not having a good day here, am I? But that's okay. We'll work through it. And we have this little call out that we've created. Okay, and we'll make that kind of a little bit larger. So I kind of backed up and messed around a little bit here. And we're going to call this, we're going to edit it. It'll be called the slow arrival. Okay. Now let's go back in. Now let's put. We know vendor sort is working because I get the little hand which shows it's got the command buttons working. And maybe it. Let's do vendor sort, and they'll do fast arrival. Okay. And so let's go back up here and click view. And we'll click view macros, and we have vendor sort. Okay. And let's see what we've got in this workbook. That's all we have. So we're going to create these over again. Not that big of a deal. Let's start with the fast arrival. And so we'll click record macro. And that we're going to call fast arrival. And that will be Control F. And the fast arrival will be days overdue. And this will be in ascending order. And we'll have vendor name. Okay. Not a big deal. We can't break it. We just mess with it here and get it fixed in ascending order. And then I put in, and let's just go ahead and put in cost per order. Don't ask us to, but I want to know it all the same. And so we've got fast arrival, and we'll click OK. That's in this workbook. Okay. Now, if you click up here, you'll see it says stop recording. Don't press that because we're still recording this memo. So we're going to go fast arrival macro. Excuse me. So we're going to highlight A7 all the way down to M73. We're going to come over here. We'll click home. We're going to click on the sort and filter. We're going to click custom sort. And here, this is, we want to make sure we have the days overdue, smallest to the largest. These are the fast arrivals. Then we want the vendor name. And we want that in alphabetical order. And then we do cost per order, largest to smallest, and we click OK. Okay. This is the fast arrival. Okay. And now we'll go back up here and we'll click View. Click on Macros and we'll click Stop Recording. Now, let's click on Macros and then we see the fast arrival and we can run it. Let's click back up in View Macros and we'll see the vendor sort, and we can run it. Okay. Now, we're going to come down here on this green star that I created, and I'm going to click Assign Macro, and I'm going to assign it to Fast Arrival. All right. And when I put my cursor there, you'll notice it goes to the little hand. I'm going to click vendor sort. It's going to do them in alphabetical order as we've asked. Then fast arrival, we'll see those. And now we're going to do the vendor. Now we're going to do the macro for the slow arrival. Yeah, as you can see, once you kind of get the hang of it and do it, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, it's just I just don't do that many of them. So when I have to kind of walk myself through it too, along with you, but that's okay. We're good. So now we have this, but it's not assigned. So we're going to create the third macro. So I'm going to click View Macros. Okay, I've just got those two. Now I'm going to click Record Macro. There's no need to be nervous. People do this and they get a little bit nervous. There's no need to, because if you don't like the macro or it's not right, you just go into macros and you delete it. Okay. Now, I have one other thing I haven't done, so I'm not going to record this yet. On slow arrival, I want to use red fill. See, this is just neutral, vendor sort. These are good people that get stuff to us fast. Here are the people who get stuff to slow. So I'm going to click, and now I'm ready to record a macro. And I'm going to call it slow arrival. Now I'm concerned about how fast they get stuff to us for a very simple reason, and that'll be Control S, and the description in this will be days overdue, and this is Z to A, in other words, largest to smallest, and then I'm going to get the vendor name, and that will be in alphabetical order, AZ, and then I'm going to get cost per order, and that will be in ZA in descending order. Lazy people won't put in the descriptions. I'm one of those people, I have to, so I'll remember. And I have days overdue, vendor name. Days overdue is in ZA. In other words, those who take the longest to get stuff to us, that's the first sort. That's the primary sort. The secondary sort is vendor name. That's alphabetize the vendors. And then the cost per order in descending order. I'll click OK. And now I'm going to come over here and put my cursor on A7. Okay. And go all the way down to M73. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click View. Home, excuse me. Click Sort and Filter. I'm going to do a custom sort. And this time the days overdue will be largest to smallest. And the vendor name is still in alphabetical order. And we have cost per order, largest to smallest. And now we're ready to click OK. Make sure always it says my data has headers. Boom. Okay. And let's go back and look at that for just a minute. Days overdue, I want largest to smallest. Yikes. That's okay. We'll do that. We're going to get kind of a funky looking thing when we, when we assign the macro. That's okay. It'll end up where it should. And now we're going to click View. And we'll stop the recording. Okay, now we stopped recording the macro. So I'm going to go back up here and click View Macros. And I'm just going to run Fast Arrival. I'm going to click View Macros, and I'm going to do Vendor Sort. I'm going to click up here on Macros, and I'm going to do Slow Arrival. I'm going to run it. Okay. Now, notice on the blue, the Vendor Sort, little hand that command button's operating. We need to assign this to the slow arrival. So where it says assign macro, click that. This is the red one, and we're going to click that and put that on slow arrival, and we'll click OK. All right. Now we'll try it. And there it is. So we have our vendor sort. This tells me who all my vendors are, etc. Then fast arrival, then slow arrival. And as you can see, we get these different result sets, and we can see the days overview. This one means these people are 11 days late. These are my slow people. And I included cost per order in there for a very simple reason. You know, if these folks are taking, if they're 11 days, nearly 2 weeks late with stuff, I'm going to call them and go, I think we need to work something out here. Because as you can see now, you see these accounts payable terms, okay, net 60, net 61 quarter. This means if the bill is paid within 40 days, there's a 1.5% discount. Here is 1%. It's paid within 10 days. It's a net 30. This is 1.5% if it's paid within 40 days. These are trade credit terms. Okay, so we got the vendor sort. Now we got the fast arrival. And we got slow arrival. And so we've created macros, and
we've assigned command buttons that let us do this. Now, the case over there, starting on page 113, gives you a tutorial for this spreadsheet. I don't think, you may want to take a look at it. It might be worth it, but that's up to you. The main thing I'm focusing on, and let's look at this again. Let's click on view macros. Okay, fast arrival. I'm looking at days overdue. Slow arrival, days overdue. Then I just kind of have this neutral sort of the vendor. Who are they? You know, and why we got involved with them. And we're good there. So we can do the vendor sort. Fast arrival. See it, and then we'll do the slow arrival. And we'll just go back to vendor sort as our very first one. So I'll save this, okay, and to my desktop, and then when I open it back up, they'll be operative, okay. And that's how we would do trim and queue. In fact, what I'm going to do is right now, I'm going to come over here to File, and I'm going to put Save As, and I'm going to call this trim and queue case 12 solution. Case 12 key. Okay? I'll put that on my desktop. And they want me to save file these features. Click no. Notice, I'm going to stop and show you something really important. Following features cannot be saved in macro-free workbooks. VB project. When we do these macros, they're what we call Visual Basic projects. And I'm not going to take you under the hood because it will just confuse you. But the bottom line is we've actually done some programming while it was recording our steps. To save a file with these features, in other words, to keep the macros, we will we'll click no. Okay? And then we can save it up to our desktop. There we are. I'll select and continue savers and continue. I want to click no. And I'm going to click down here and I'm going to put X. When it says save as type, do Excel macro enabled workbook. Now we're ready. And it's saved. Now I've got it on. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to close the file. And now what I'm going to do, folks, is I'm going to come over here to Files. Okay. And I'm going to upload that file. And let's see here. This will be trim and queue. And notice something now. I want you to see this. If you look at this trim and queue, you're going to see trim and queue case 12 key. See the little macro button? That little exclamation point. That means the macros are enabled. In other words, they're operating. This is a warning to you because macros are actually execution of code, and the way that malicious hackers will often get in is they'll embed themselves in code. And when we were creating those macros underneath, we were actually doing some Visual Basic programming. So I'm going to click trim and queue case key, and see the little macro there, and click OK. And it's going to upload here, and we'll scroll down, and you'll find trim and queue case 12 key, and it's published, and you can download it to your desktop and then upload it. And I'm just going to
download it for a second. Well, the XLSM means it has macros in it. But I'm going to download it, and then I'm going to open it up. Okay, and enable editing, and then it has a macro. And see, that's why on the documentation part we put the names of those macros in there, but you don't need to. You say, and we'll enable the content, and then we're ready to go. So it's there for you. It's Truman Q case 12 key X, and XLSM means it's an Excel file that is macro enabled. Okay, so we've got that done, and we've done 12 for today. Okay, and we're in good shape. Now, what I'm going to do is we have one more case left, and that's going to be, well, let me do this for a moment. I'm going to diminish my browser, okay? And I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to find that Truman Q. Oh, what a nasty looking desktop. And I'm going to open this up, okay? And I just want to show you, I said, well, we're kind of looking under the hood, all right? And I'm going to click View, and then Macros. All right. Oh, that's strange. Oh, forget it. Hang on a minute here. I created the second file, Truman Q keys. So let me find it here. Here it is. Now, you remember what I mentioned to you? I'm sorry about the nasty desktop. You'll see right here, right in Cardinal Buddy's face, right next to Cardinal Buddy, you see the little exclamation point, Microsoft Excel enabled worksheet. Now we open that up. Okay, and it will say enable content. Yeah, and we're good. And there's our macros. And then we're going to click View, and then Macros. And we've got the vendor sort, and we're going to click Step Into. What this has done is this has taken us down to the Visual Basic view, okay? And this is a subroutine called vendor sort. How do I know? Look at the blinking cursor, look at the yellow name, and then the parentheses. So it's called, look, and you can go take courses on using Visual Basic. You know, it's up to you, but you know, this course it's a little bit beyond, because as an end user, you don't have to worry about it anyway. But it's got the vendor sort, and then it has the name. See the commentary? That's what these little slashes are. This is Visual Basic, and then a keyboard shortcut, and then it tells us, okay, what range are we working with? And that's A7 through M73, and we're going to select them. Then it has some active rows. Okay, that's going on down, and then in the active worksheet, these are the things that happen. Now, we could, if we were taking a course of Visual Basic, write all this code and save it. The beauty of the macro in Excel, and you can also use command buttons in Access, and we'll see that, is that you just record the keystrokes, they get converted to code, and it's under there, but you don't have to worry about that, okay? But for those of you who would say, I'm old school and I want to see under the hood, okay, there you go. And then we see the end of the subroutine. We want to go back to the Excel view. We'll click over here to View Microsoft Excel. Now we're back. So we kind of took a little bit of a look under the hood there.
and we're in good shape. Okay, now I'm going to close this off for a second, and I'm going to go back to my browser. And as I mentioned before, you know, we're going to, this is a pre-recorded session, okay, because I have a medical appointment. I got to be at Oklahoma City at 3:30. I'll never get back. I'll be hard-pressed to get through with data admin and get up there. Nonetheless, will be the first recording. I'll probably do at least one or two more as we finish out the Excel cases, because we're getting ready to start the Access cases, and this is where it will slow down. And this is, now you understand why I've been working ahead, so we can take our time with Access, which is what most folks who take this course, most people have a very limited amount of work with them, with Access, with databases. So we'll take that kind of slow. Now, what I am going to do, and while we're here, I'm going to see if I can find Pacific or XLS12, the key, okay, and show you what it is. And we've got XLS10, XLS7, we've got 13 done. Yeah, okay, this is good. This is case 13, which is Pacific Traders, okay? And I'm going to download this case, and I've got it published for you, okay? And I'm going to do a short preview for you, all right? Now, let's talk about this. You've heard me mention several times that pivot tables are very powerful tools that give us the best of both worlds. They give us the best of a database that lets us look at things in a multi-dimensional way. Okay, and you remember I've talked about the analytical cube. Plus, it lets us work in a spreadsheet environment, so we can do some statistical manipulation. Now, let's start at the beginning, and I'm going to cover this in some more detail in a second recording. And we'll click on Pacific Cube. Okay, and the case starts over on page 119, and it has some discussion about this company. They import organic fruits and vegetables, and it's the usual thing. It's a thought problem, and they have these questions about their business, and so they want to keep some accurate records. Plus, they have some questions that they want to just kind of do what we call serendipitous queries or questions. What if? And so they're on page 120. They say, use the Pacific Q file, and there's a Pacific Q file. Okay, this is one I've worked in, so it's basically done, or a solution is what. And then they give us some tasks, and they say what we can do with a pivot table. Okay. Now, these are the data, okay, and then we've got each of the tasks. There are 4 tasks in this case, and they're in the middle of page 120. Here's the first one. During what month are peaches most in demand in Eugene? So, during what month do they sell the most peaches? All right. Who's the least productive salesperson? These tasks get a little more tricky and a little more difficult as we go on. Okay, and then task 3, and they talk about, are we going to continue marketing your restaurant? And then task 4, we may be growing too fast and spread over too wide a geographic area. What should we do? So we've got, and notice here I have task 1, 2, 3, and 4. The book does a pretty good job of showing you a pivot table, okay, and how they're made Let's click on task 1. Well, let's do this, okay. I'm going to take my cursor, and I'm going to highlight. Okay, I'm going to click Insert, pivot table. Okay, and it says what range are you getting the cells, and I'm getting this range. I'm going all the way from A7 down here to F75. Okay, and I'm going to put this in a new worksheet, and I'm going to click OK. Now you won't see this because I'm not going to save this, but I just want to show you about a pivot table real briefly, and click OK. Now, notice something up here. These three should be on. Show the field list, plus or negative buttons, and field headers. Okay, here's the pivot table. Now, I'm just going to say, let's take these by date. And so let's look at a report filter. And we'll click it, and then we'll move it over here to, we've got it in rows. Okay. And then we're going to get the city, and click it. And I'm going to put the city in columns. That makes no sense. Let's leave the city. Let's pull that off there. So we have it by date, by city. And then I'm going to put by store type, column. Now I'm just playing around here, folks. And then I'm going to take sales and put them in values. Now, if I want to, I can click on the values here, and I can put value field settings, and I can save them to what I want them to be. If I click in here, the pivot table field list shows up. If I click over here, click outside the data here, it results. And we'll see this as we work through the Pacific Q case. And what we've done now is this will finish the Excel cases, because what we're going to do this last case is use Excel like a database and like a spreadsheet. In some of these cases, it was purely used as a spreadsheet. In other parts of these cases, we use some database like functions. And then in this case, Pacific Q, which is actually case 13, not 12, we're going to get the best of both worlds. We're going to look at that analytical cube. And the beauty of a pivot table is this. I click inside, and I can move these variables around by dragging and dropping just to see what it looks like, or to get a particular order, and we'll see that. Okay? So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to close the worksheet. I'm not going to save any changes. And notice it says XLS12 done, and it's published. That's the file that you would upload, okay, for case 11, Excel case 11. So I've already told you that, but I'll go through it in detail in this in a second recording. This is the recording for Thursday night. Okay, folks, well, listen, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go back up here. Okay? And we'll go back up to home. All right? And back to the announcements. And you'll notice in the announcements, it's a little bit slow here. I told you, that the session will be pre-recorded, and then supplemental casts to be determined. So, for example, last week there was September 21 Part 1, September 21 Part 2, September 21 Part 3. I'll have I'll probably put something up here called September 28 Part 1 pre-recorded, and then I'll have a Part 2 and a Part 3. Okay? Again, I thank you for the for your good work, your hard work, and this way you'll have it. Again, we will not physically meet Thursday night, the 28th. I have a medical appointment. I have to be in Oklahoma City, and I just can't get back in time to do it. And so I'm going to use the Zoom tool, which it's intended to do, to give us some flexibility. And I'm recording this, and then you could see it, and then I'll record a second
at the very least a second supplemental recording that covers specific Q, and then we'll be completely through with the Excel cases. And I may do a third that introduces us to database and gets us started on Access, which will be a new kind of adventure for many of us. But don't fear, when you do workshops, I will either show you the key. If I don't, you try to work it. Just make sure you upload it on time, because you get credit for trying, okay? And then you can always see after you've uploaded the work how it should be done, and I'll identify the file. And I think you can learn as well like that. And by giving you credit for simply trying, I take the pressure off of you and the nervousness of, did I get it right, okay? And look, I know you've got exams. You're going to have a final with a hands-on. You're going to have some other big projects. You can go in and see what's going on and what you'll have. So I'm, helping you out here some to help reduce some of the anxiety some of you may feel about working through these cases. And of course, you can always go back and take a look at any of them. Well, folks, I thank you. I'm going to stop sharing and then stop the recording, and I will post this once it's processed and loaded up to YouTube, and I'll put it in the announcements, and then I'll do a second. One that covers specific XLS 12, and I may even say, let's get started on databases, and we'll take a look at that. Okay. If not, I might do a third one that will work us on databases, or I may just simply say, okay, I'll wait till a week from today to do one that introduces us. I just haven't decided how I'm going to do it yet, but once the recordings are created, they'll be created, and I'll label them so you know what's going on. Again, thank you for your hard work, and appreciate it. The test scores, I keep looking at them, and I'm very pleased with how everybody's working, and I really do check to see if you're attending and all that. So keep up the good work, my friends. So I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to stop the